District of Conservation is sponsored by the Committee for a Constructive Tomorrow, better known as CFACT. To learn more about our sponsor, head over to cfact.org. Thanks for listening to the program. Welcome to District of Conservation. I'm your host, Gabriella Hoffman. This podcast offers a sober examination into all things hunting, fishing, shooting sports, energy, environment, and the public policy surrounding it. And this podcast also specializes in original interviews that you won't hear elsewhere. Here's what I have for you today. Another interview from ICAST with the fabulous Jen Ripple, a longtime friend of mine and mentor. She is a fly fishing extraordinaire. She's going to talk about a seminar she delivered here at the show and the relaunch of her newly revamped Done Outdoors, previously Done magazine. Jen, it's so great to catch up with you. I'm so glad to see you.
Gabby,
congrats on all
too.
the success.
Thank you very much.
Tell everyone your backstory. My listeners might be familiar with your name. They know you from fly fishing, being a very strong advocate for fly anglers, women in fly angling, but how'd you get roped into fishing altogether?
Oh my gosh. Well, I fell into it literally and figuratively. I was working at the University of Michigan, and that has the Huron River that runs through the campus, and it was a really, really cold winter, and I was looking for something to do, and I found a local fly tying class that was online at the local fly shop. I didn't even really know what that was, but it was super cheap. It was like 8 classes for $65, and I thought, well, if I don't like it, it's not like I spent thousands of dollars, so it was probably the coldest, most blizzardy night of the year that year, and I still got in the car, drove there, and when I walked in the fly shop, I just fell in love with everything that was the fly community. I mean, it was everything from the shop dog to the people that were there, and it was all men. There wasn't even a woman there, but they made me feel so comfortable and so included that I just fell in love with the whole thing.
And that is catapulted in your career with all the trips you've made, the riding you've done, the mentoring you've done. And what has been a highlight here at ICAST for you so far this year?
So a highlight for me is we literally launched yesterday the magazine. It's a relaunch of our magazine. So Done started out as a fly fishing magazine, an international women's fly fishing magazine. And yesterday we relaunched as Done Outdoors, so all outdoor sports for women. So if it's Done Outdoors, it's Done Outdoors. And we tell the everyday outdoor woman's story. So everyone has a story on how, like you just asked me, how did I fall into that? That's my story. Everyone has a story on how they got into the outdoors, and we tell those stories.
When we first connected, when it was formerly just the magazine for fly fishing, I remember reading the stories and loving the storytelling and the human interest stories. And it's not just like products. And products are great. Product reviews are cool, but everyone does product reviews. So for me, that's always been something I've kind of prioritized. Like, I love the human interest story. I've tried to tell my own. I've tried to tell others. And I think that's what resonates, as you were talking about in your seminar, which I'll have you go into. So that's why I think your magazine with the relaunch is going to stand out even more. Like, you were already telling great stories. I was sad that you guys had paused it, and now it's revamped, telling even more stories. How exciting is that? Especially with how media is changing. Everything is very digital. It's very hard to find print, or people shrug print. You have a couple legacy outlets like Field and Stream have gone back to print, which is great, and they have digital, but navigating that landscape, how are you planning to do that?
Yeah, so moving forward, 2026, it will start out again as Done originally did, as a digital magazine. Our platform is still quite large and growing every single day, and so we will grow our audience again, and then we will offer a print magazine in 27.
Very cool. I love that, because I think it could be a compliment. Talk about your seminar you just delivered. I thought it was great in terms of making appeals to the fly fishing industry. So for context, for people who don't go to ICAST, there used to be a fly fishing component, and they've splintered off. They don't really do much anymore. And you were talking, even though this is more of a spin and bait cast kind of crowd, fly fishing has huge opportunities here. When I was first coming here, starting in 2017, I remember fly fishing having a presence. Now it's like almost nowhere to be found outside of you, the Women in Angling, a couple other, little brands here and there. Why is that a missed opportunity for fly fishing? Because fishing is growing. It's not having issues like other outdoor activities with participation, easier barrier to entry. Why shouldn't fly fishing have a presence here? Why are they missing out?
Isn't that a great question? Why isn't fly fishing here? There are some brands, Temple Fork Outfitters, St. Croix, there are some brands that have fly gear here, but their main bread and butter is the conventional side, right? Your spin casters, your bait casters, your spinning reels. And I think it's a giant missed opportunity. I think the fly community forgets that, they used to be part of ICAST, then they broke off, then they struggled, then they came back to ICAST, and then they broke off again, and now they struggle again, right? And I think it's a giant missed opportunity, because if you just stand up on a stage or you just go down any aisle and you see all of the people here that are conventional anglers, those are all possible new fly anglers. This is a giant missed opportunity. You know, too, I think that the fly fishing segment is missing out, because there's so many new brands here. There's so much innovation here. There's so many new things for, even like on my side, for women here, you know, and they could learn something about that, you know. I mean, why wouldn't you want to be in a place where you could easily cross over? Because to a lot of, like, I think fly anglers are very exclusive.
Yeah.
We are like, oh no, I'm not going to pick up a spinning rod. But
continue.
Yeah, so fly anglers are very exclusive, right? So they're like, oh no, I'm not going to pick up a spinning reel. I'm only a fly angler. And listen, I can be like that too, for sure. I only know how to fly fish. But I find that the conventional angler is inclusive. If a fly rod will help him catch a fish, he will pick it up and use it in a heartbeat. And I think that's one of the things that fly misses as well.
That was an obstacle for me in my fly fishing journey. I've done it close to a decade now. I haven't gotten deterred, but I started off with bait and spin cast, and I was like, I want to do something more elegant with more finesse, like for trout, because I realized, like, there are different creel limits and seasons and restrictions in Virginia where you don't want the trout population to be decimated. And I was like, oof, trout on the fly. Very enticing. I want to learn how to do it. So I did, and I went through Orvis 101. I bought all the gear for a very budgeted rate too, even from some high-end brands. But I remember encountering a couple people along the road, one instructor I had on the water, who was a little bit impatient with me and kind of rude. But outside of that, like, really haven't faced obstacles. There are people who sneer at you and say, like, oh, you have this, or your politics, or whatever. And you're right, like, sometimes it can be exclusive, but I think in the 10 years since I first started, it's a little more ecumenical, a little more opening, but you still kind of have those hardliners. What do you say to that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think those are in any sport, any opportunity, you know, anything that you're going to do. I mean, even in any fly shop or any conventional shop, there's always going to be that guy, right, or that woman. And I think, like, speaking as a woman, I hear it all the time, and it kind of drives me crazy. Like, oh, you know, fly shops are just so rude to women, you know. What we don't realize as women is that fly shops are rude to men too.
Yes.
They're just rude. People can just be rude. But I think that we're more sensitive to it, so it seems like that. But it's just that you haven't found the right fly shop, or maybe you haven't found the right person, you know. I mean, just go somewhere else if they're being rude. Or like, even here, I mean, I do think that, like, even here, there are booths that I've brought my team to and we've gone into where no one gets up. They're sitting talking to their colleague, and they won't even give you the time of day. And what a missed opportunity, right?
Yeah.
That's a missed opportunity too. But what that says to me is that I just go to the next booth that has the same kind of product, and if they talk to me, then guess what? Then we're going to talk about that.
Mm-hmm. It really is that, like, socializing, being open to things, and it is such a missed opportunity that there's not more of a fly presence, but I think they can change it. Maybe with your urging, with your seminar, your call to action, there will be people who decide to come back to ICAST, but it really is an opportunity, because I was one of those people who eventually transitioned to doing more fly fishing. I'm not exclusively fly fishing, because I will fish whatever style, whatever that can maximize my, you know, return on investment or return on catch, I would say, for that. So I think you become better when you know multiple styles of fishing. And who is to say, like, other people here wouldn't want to learn? And I think people have seen your posts, and people have seen my journey into fly fishing. They're like, I want to learn how to do that. Can you teach me? So, like, it's such a force multiplier effect when people see you're having fun fly fishing. Why not others trying to do it? So yes, it's a great opportunity to do it.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like, how many times have you been on the river fly fishing and had someone come up to you or told someone that you like to fly fish, and they said, I've always wanted to try that? Those are your new anglers right there.
And it doesn't have to be such a high-pressured environment. Like, I will rig my rod perfectly for someone. I will teach them the paintbrush method, tie some flies with them, and boom, get them set up. And they just, like, love it when they catch a fish. It could be a panfish, it could be a trout, it could be anything. And when you get them to execute properly, they're just like, I'm in. I want to do this. What do I have to do? And I tell them, you don't have to shell out so much money for all this gear. You want to get the right waders, absolutely. Some polarized sunglasses, some other, like, comfortable gear, but you don't have to go crazy spending tens of thousands of dollars, right?
That's right.
How can you be a fly angler on a budget? You've done it for so many decades. How do you do it on a budget?
Oh, seriously, you don't need waders to start with, and I would say that you could buy a fly rod. You know, your standard graphite fly rod that's really inexpensive these days is better than the ones from the old days. So you can literally cast that today. I would just say you could go into Orvis, pick up their combo, go into Walmart, pick up that combo. You really want a good, teach yourself. You don't even know what your cast is going to look like. You don't need to spend $1,000 on a rod. You could buy a secondhand rod from Facebook Marketplace these days and be completely, you're not going to know what you're doing. But I would say you start with a 5-weight. It doesn't matter what it is. You go to your local pond. You put a terrestrial on, like a grasshopper or a cricket or a beetle, something that is not naturally in the water. You put that on the end. You go to a bluegill pond and you cast that out there, because you don't have to have the perfect presentation. You don't have to have the perfect cast, but bluegills love to eat flies, and it will teach you how to cast. It will teach you how to present a fly. It'll teach you how to land a fish. That's all you need. And you know what? You can go buy that rod, reel, and line for $40. And all you really need, if you want to upgrade that, is you go into your fly shop next and you buy a better fly line, and you will have a completely different setup, especially in a 5-weight. Because that reel, you don't need a $600 reel. That reel is only a line holder. Why do you need something that's that expensive? You don't. You don't need waders. You don't need any of that fancy stuff.
That's very true, because you can fish, like you said, right from the shore and have a ton of fun. I've tried to do that too. I've done in the river, on the shore, on a boat. There's so many options to do, and I think people are, they feel constrained that, I have to do it specifically like this, like a river runs through it, which is great. But not everyone has to do that. If you live in an urban area, or you live away from Montana or the West, or you live like on the East Coast or in an urban area, you can have so much fun fly fishing. I do it all the time, in DC. Like I find little holes and you can just go to your heart's desire. What are some of the stories that the newly relaunched publication has just published that my listeners would be interested in? Like, is there anything interesting, fascinating that you have just put out?
Oh, yeah. So we did a story, because we're all outdoors now, we did a story of a woman who was in the Navy who had was talking about how she used to fish with her grandpa and would also like conventional fish, but then would also go hunting with him. And she's told her story. It's the first time she ever wrote anything. It's the first time. And I met her because she came to my house for a Wounded Warriors kind of event where I taught fly fishing at my house, and she started telling me her story. And I just said, well, listen, you could tell that story. Why don't you send me that article? And she said, I'm not a good writer. Listen, the everyday angler isn't a journalist first, but they can tell a story, and I can edit that story so that it's still your story, but it's fit for publication and you see it ahead of time. But we want to tell those stories. That's empowering. It's empowering. She was a woman of color. It's empowering for her to tell her story, and it's empowering for the women who read it, right? And, and then of course we do some gear reviews. We also did an article about 2 of the women who went to Alaska fishing and how they became fast friends, and and then they talk about the gear that helped them do that. And it's not expensive gear. It doesn't have to be, we're not placing that, we're not getting paid to place that. It's just a story, and that's what they used, and you can use that too.
I want to ask you, I have no idea if you've seen this series, but I'm a big Yellowstone fan, and there's a spin-off called The Madison with Michelle Pfeiffer. Have you seen it?
I have not, but everyone has told me I need to watch it.
You know why you have to watch it, Jen? Because it incorporates fly fishing like all throughout the first season. It's amazing. Like I teared up watching it because there was a river runs through it reference, and just like everything's surrounded by fly fishing on the Madison River. It's the perfect fly angling show, but it's like catered to women, and everyone's like, Taylor Sheridan's like too masculine, too macho. But this show, like, it's a more sensitive side of him. Not like emasculating, but it speaks to his creative prowess. And he was able to design a show with a powerful lead who learns to do the hobbies that her husband did. You were talking in the seminar about like a daughter learning, how to pick up fly fishing from her deceased father.
Yeah.
So the fact that her, without giving too many spoilers for those who haven't seen the show, her husband, played by Kurt Russell, tragically dies. And she's like, why did he come here? Why did he come to this spot in Montana from New York? Was he doing it to escape from us, from family life? And she's like, no, he wasn't cheating on me. He was loyal to me. He just felt so at peace here. So I will learn how to be that. So that's what the gist of the show is. You will love this and eat this up.
I gotta watch it. Thank you for that.
So I tell every fly angler, and maybe I could write about it for Done if you ever need anything about that. Because like to see the pop culture incorporation of fly fishing, it's not going to lead to I don't think it's going to lead to this like crazy thing where everyone is going to go to Montana buy out all this stuff and make it more crowded than it is. But I think it's an appreciation of the art, an appreciation of the sport. And it's just done so cinematically beautiful. So that's why I really like the show.
Oh man, I love it. I can't wait to watch it.
Yes. So you got to watch it. I want to hear your feedback on it. Is there anything else that you haven't discussed that you would like to get across to my listeners, Jen?
No, just that I love you. Thank you for being such a great advocate in all things. I mean, you don't shy away from those hard conversations, and that's what we love about you.
I'm mutually respectful of you, and you've been such a great influence on me. I've loved following your journey, learning from you, and becoming a better angler because of you. So, Jen, I appreciate it. It's mutual. And where can everyone go for the newly relaunched magazine? Social media, online? Give the links, please.
Yep. So, Done is not spelled D-O-N-E. It's spelled D-U-N, like the mayfly. So, it's donemagazine.com.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jen. I so appreciate this. Have a great rest of
Thank you.
ICAST.
You too.
If you enjoyed this installment of District of Conservation, I would love to know your feedback. Send it my way. Please be sure to leave us reviews on Apple, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are played, and also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to never miss a beat nor a guest announcement. Thanks so much for listening to District of Conservation. I hope you have a wonderful day, and please share the podcast to those who may be interested in learning more about these critical natural resources, environment, energy issues.